So 5 rides in, Quick Queue still not open. That's where we're at. Let's talk about amusement parks, slide rides and rides in the dark. Rides right here and rides all over, but mostly coasters, mostly coasters. We'll talk about all kind of things, but mostly coasters. So I'm not typically one to buy Quick Queue or Flash Pass or Fast Lane or any of those skip the line services that parks offer. I tend to just try to go on less busy days and save my money. But I do have a couple of friends going to the park that already have Quick Queue, so I thought, why not get it myself and see how much of a difference it makes? Now, even though today is a Sunday, which is normally a less busy day of the year, it is a Sunday on a 3-day weekend. So I'm expecting this to be just about the busiest the park has ever been, maybe with the exception of when I visited during the holiday season. Now, with a park like SeaWorld that only has 4 major rides, I'm really interested to see if just the Quick Queue itself, which gets you to the front of the line, doesn't reserve shows or anything like that. I'm really interested to see if it is worth it or not. So to first go over how getting Quick Queue works, you head on over to the SeaWorld website, go to add-ons, click on Quick Queue, and then you're greeted with a few different options. Now for this video, we're just going to be looking at Quick Queue Unlimited. So if we go ahead and look at the details of Quick Queue Unlimited, you can see that the attractions available for Quick Queue are Mako, Manta, Kraken. Antarctica Empire of the Penguin is just the exhibit right now. So while the ride isn't open, I do believe that you do still get priority access to the exhibit. Infinity Falls, Journey to Atlantis, and Wild Arctic, which is not currently open. Again, the exhibit is just not the ride. And as you can see at the bottom, it says pricing varies by season, and to check specific dates for the actual prices. So here is a look at some of the Quick Queue prices. As you can see, the weekends are much more expensive than the weekdays. As a pass holder, the rates are significantly discounted, or at least for platinum pass holders. I'm not sure what the discount is like for other tiers. And then just to show you what some of the different rates are throughout the year, in July, it is a lot more expensive as it is a much more popular time of year for amusement parks. And one more time, here are the discounted rates for the more expensive times of year as well. All right, now that we have selected Sunday, we're gonna go to checkout. And as you can see, there are taxes applied to our heavily discounted rate for a checkout total of $18.64, which really is not bad at all. Again, that is the platinum pass holder discounted rate, so the regular rate is gonna be about double that, which I still don't think is terrible, but we'll have to see if it truly is worth it or not once we get into the park. It is 9:40 in the morning, and the park opens at 10, and it is already, it's looking like it's gonna be very busy. So I'm in, parked, gonna get out of the car, get into the park, and see where I even pick up the Quick Queue. On the voucher for Quick Queue, it says to go to any of the Quick Queue pickup locations, but doesn't exactly say where they are. So not the clearest instructions of how to actually pick up Quick Queue, but I'm sure once I get in, I can ask someone and they can point me in the right direction. So apparently the way that it works is you don't have to print anything out. I guess you could print it out on a piece of paper, but the way that it works is you do not need to get like a wristband or anything. You just use the voucher that you have and they scan that at whatever ride that you go to. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. I've never seen it work like that at any other park. So Quick Queue actually isn't even open yet, which is kind of interesting. I guess it makes sense. It's pretty early in the morning. They probably don't have enough people to have an attendant down here. Definitely not getting any use out of it yet, but even if that side were open, all it would really do is save me a few steps, but I'm out of shape, so I could use a little more walking in my life anyway. So walk on front row with absolutely no need for Quick Queue. If you're coming to the park on a day where Mako opens with the park, definitely get to Mako first because there's no line, it's dead. There's not even people waiting for the front this time either. There's nobody in line. I'm also pretty sure I had that train to myself, which was super cool. Right off the bat, first impressions, not worth it, especially if you hit the back of the park up first. Mako's the best ride here and usually the most popular as well. So if you can just get in at opening, head straight to the back of the park, you're gonna have no problem getting on Mako with absolutely no wait. As for the stuff in the front of the park, it could potentially be worth it, or if you don't feel like coming right at opening. My friends that are coming today are coming around 11 or so. I'd have to imagine it'd be worth it at that point. But yeah, for the back of the park in the morning, not worth it. So 5 rides in, nearly 11, I think. Quick queue still not open. That's where we're at. But now it's time for round 6. I guess it's just Marathon Mako Day. So had the first wait of the day. Quick queue is apparently supposed to be open all day. They just had the line for it roped off this whole time. I let a very nice gentleman know. And supposedly it should be open now. Definitely haven't needed it yet. The wait is actually starting to develop. There is about, I'd guess, 10-ish minute wait. So there we go, finally open. Now we're actually gonna get to see how it works. So finally got to use quick queue on that 9th time, I think. And that was super easy. I really like that. It really simplifies it to just have it on your device as opposed to having to pick one up or print something out. Or it's really nice to just have it on something that you already have. So 10th ride, second one using quick queue. But for that time, it was about 10-ish minutes again. And I'd say my opinion on it is changing a little bit. I still stand by the fact that if you come in the morning, there's absolutely no need for it. But later in the day, it is definitely going to be helpful. We'll see if the crowds pick up later. We'll see how the other rides lines are. But for Mako specifically, yeah, not really any need for it so far. So the first sort of negative-ish went in the quick queue for ride number 13, and there was nobody in the regular line except for one group of people, and then more people came up the stairs from the regular line that got in the regular line after I got in the quick queue line. They were let in first before any of the quick queue folks, so they actually waited significantly less time than the people in the quick queue line. So after about an hour and a half of riding Mako non-stop, gonna head over to Kraken and then probably Manta after that. Kind of hard to leave Mako though, such a good ride. Also shout out to Sam from Mako. He's very friendly, very fun to talk to. So I actually almost missed the quick queue entrance because it's the exit. And I don't typically walk up the exit of rides. So the audio for this next part was pretty loud and terrible, so I'm just gonna summarize this after the fact. I don't really love the Kraken quick queue system, at least after my first visit and from what I was told from the first attendant that I talked to about how quick queue works for Kraken. I was under the impression that Kraken only reserves 1 row per train for quick queue, so if you have multiple groups of quick queue in front of you, it can actually take quite a bit of time to get on Kraken. I only had 3 groups of people in front of me for my first ride on Kraken, and it ended up taking about 10 to 15 minutes to get on. And then I went to reride Kraken and there were about 7 groups of people in front of me, so I decided that I did not really want to wait that 25-ish minutes to ride again. So yeah, after getting on Mako 13 or 14 times in an hour and a half, I've been on Kraken once in the following hour. Also, Journey is closed, so won't get to test out quick queue on that. So taking another Kraken at quick queue. See what I did there? Another Kraken. You want to say hi? Hi, Becca. The whole reason I got quick queue and I'm doing a is quick queue worth it video. Apparently, like sometimes they will open a couple rows for quick queue. Sometimes they'll use one of the rows for regular. So I guess it's just up to their discretion. Yeah, we'll see if it takes as long to get on this time or not. Just to interject again after the fact, we only ended up needing to wait 1 cycle for Kraken the second time, which took no time at all. And the regular standby wait was a bit longer than when we initially rode as well, so I would say the second time around Kraken quick queue was definitely worth it. Heading back on Mako. Quick queue is definitely going to be worth it. And this time, the regular queue is almost to the front of the entrance. So almost definitely going to be very, very worth it for this time. The last couple of rides on Mako were really solid. I mean, the wait was probably about 45 to an hour, and we got on in like 2 cycles. So later in the day, totally worth it. In the morning, if you're coming from open to close, still seems like you really don't need quick queue. So next up, we're gonna check out Manta, see how quick queue is for that ride. Quick queue for Manta is in a weird spot. It's over by the exit, and then you book a right instead of going up into the exit. So from the entrance, you go past the aquarium, go towards the gift shop, and then turn right. So it was a little difficult to gauge whether or not quick queue was worth it for Manta, because for Manta, most of the queue is indoors. So we didn't really see how long it was, but the wait time sign out front did say about 60 minutes, I believe, and we ended up only waiting about 10. It definitely felt like we were skipping a significant amount of the line, because a quick queue entrance for Manta takes you directly into the station, so you're typically only going to wait about 1 or 2 cycles. So for Manta, quick queue, definitely worth it. So after 2 back-to-back rides on Manta without any wait at all, we headed back over to Mako, and Mako had an insanely long wait. It was overflowing into the midway, and the quick queue even had a bit of a line as well. I would say it probably wasn't more than 20 to 30 people, and we ended up getting 3 rides on Mako within about 15 minutes, which I think is insanely good, again, considering how long the line had gotten. So for those last few rides on Mako, quick queue was absolutely worth it, despite the fact that it didn't get that long till 4 or 5 hours into the day. So after riding everything we wanted to ride, I thought it'd be interesting to ask my buddy Jake what his thoughts were on quick queue, especially since he arrived at the park later in the day, once the crowds had already picked up. Okay, quick queue. What are your quick thoughts on quick queue?
It's worth it for busy days at the park, and if you only have 1 day of a visit. And that goes for any park that has a system like that. It's worthwhile if you're gonna be here for a short amount of time and on busier days.
So would you recommend it for like how today was?
Yes, 100%.
Jake did a really good job summing it up. It's very valuable if you are not planning on spending a full day at the park. You just want to get as much done as quickly as possible. It's really awesome for that. And especially on busier days. But I definitely think that you do not need it. So ultimately, is it worth it? Well, to me, I don't think so. Not for me personally. As long as you're willing to get to the park early, and especially if you're willing to stay at the park till closing, you'll have no problem riding everything you want to at least once, probably multiple times as well. And especially if you start at the back of the park and work your way forwards. But again, is it worth it overall? It really just depends on how you like to enjoy parks. I definitely don't think you need it on weekdays, especially not in the off season, but probably not in the summer either. But it definitely could be worth it on busier weekends, especially if you're interested in doing everything that SeaWorld has to offer and not just the rides, because the less time that you spend waiting in lines, the more time you can spend looking at animals and enjoying the shows. But anyways, it's now a couple days later. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found it helpful or interesting or something. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it 2 thumbs down so I know you didn't like it. Let me know what you guys think of quick queue, if you've tried it and liked it, tried it and didn't like it, or if you're interested to try it. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more content like this. Share the video if you're feeling extra fancy. And until next time, quick queue, 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 quick queue. Still seems like you really don't need quick queue.